Mark Denham on Atom Radio.
Hello, welcome back to another podcast. This is Mark Denham from, in fact, as it just said there, from Atom Radio's Drivetime. I hope you're very well whenever you're listening to this. Maybe you're listening on Saturday as it releases, or at any time in the week. You are very welcome. These are the best bits of Drivetime for this week. It's episode 31 of the podcast this week. On the way, some great TV news, potentially on Noel Edmonds, a now lady who has the most ridiculous name ever just because her mum wanted to achieve something. You'll find me on a rant, a huge rant about sizing as well. That's coming up as well. New list of emojis with all the focus being on one in particular. That's all on the podcast as well. And we have proof that technology isn't necessarily crappy. All that and more coming up on the best bits of Drive Time this week on the podcast. Settle back, get yourself a cup of tea, turn it up, enjoy this week's best bits.
Atom Radio, ooh yeah, playing the music you want to hear.
Mark Denham.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
This is Atom Radio, online at atomradio.co.uk, on TuneIn, on iTunes Radio, and on your smart speaker. You got Mark with you on the big drive home from Monday at 4:17. Great news from the weekend. Noel Edmonds is in talks to host a rival to Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway. Now, let's be honest about this, right? Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway is basically Noel's house party without the house. You know, a lot of it is the same as Noel used to do 20 years ago on the BBC with Noel's house party. The ITV, though, are said to be having talks to thrash out a plan. This is going to happen within days. ITV is hoping to find Noel a primetime Saturday game show to be as big as Saturday Night Takeaway. Bosses loved him on I'm a Celebrity, and he was great with the crew and backstage. That would be absolutely awesome, in my opinion, if we could get Noel Edmonds back on TV. Now, he's out of contract with Channel 4 following the Deal or No Deal contract. So hopefully something is going to come up, because there is no Saturday Night Takeaway this year, is there? I believe that comes back next year. Perhaps we could just get Noel House Party back on the TV, and then we wouldn't need Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway next year. We could just have Noel's House Party every Saturday night instead. It'd just be like it was in the old days.
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
I've got a question for you. Yesterday, I was chatting to a friend of mine, and I swore. Okay? A little expletive may have come out in conversation, and this shocked her. She said, you know, like, it's quite shocking to hear you swear because you're posh. Now, I don't think I'm posh. Do you think that I am posh? That's the question. Do you think that I am posh? I don't think that I am posh. And yes, I must admit, like, when I'm not on the radio, maybe the occasional expletive may slip out in conversation. But I don't think that I'm posh, if I'm honest. It's not me. I'm not posh.
Drive time with Mark Denham.
It is Mark with you on Monday's Drive Time on atomradio.co.uk, on TuneIn, on iTunes Radio, and on your smart speaker too. Now, over the weekend, my friend shared on Facebook a video clip of, this is from 1997, this is, but so this girl was 12 in 1997. She'll be considerably older by now. She'll be, in her 30s by now, 32, 34 by now. But this girl this lady has more than 1,000 letters in her name. Did her parents absolutely hate her or something? It was her mum that chose the name. Did she absolutely hate her? I mean, her mum was on the TV in this clip. It was from an old Oprah show, saying, yeah, you know, I had to be in the Guinness Book of Records, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Hence why she has over 1,000 letters in her name. Now, I mean, it's not even a name as such, you know. It's not like even a collection of names put together. It just seems to be a load of letters that have just been put together. And you've just picked, like, oh yeah, I like an A next to perhaps that L, and then maybe another E, and perhaps a T. And it's crazy. When she applied for a driving license, when she applies for a bank account, etc., her birth certificate goes onto multiple pages. The state of Texas even passed a law after this saying that you had to give your child a name that fits on the birth certificate by law, because they have to produce a special birth certificate for her. This is just craziness, isn't it? I mean, you think, when you hear some people's names, you think, oh, your parents didn't like you, did they? But that I mean, that is just crazy. It really is.
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
Atom Radio with the Lightning Seeds and the Life of Riley. I love that song. MK, Jonas Blue before that. Back and forth. It is Mark with you. At 6:15, it is Monday evening. You know when you get married and that, and there's always that, well, maybe before you get married, there's always that, will the in-laws like me? When you take your boyfriend or your girlfriend to meet your mum and dad, you're always thinking, what if they don't like him or her? Well, that situation didn't occur here. Certainly didn't occur here. The couple have claimed that the relationship is uncomfortable. They've even had a word with her mum about her mum's crush on her boyfriend. The mother-in-law has gone to drastic measures, however, stealing naked photos off of him off of her daughter's phone. He claims this is a huge invasion of his privacy and leads him to feel violated. He said, the wife and I have been together for a few years now. We've been in the habit of sending each other photos ever since we were dating. It's just a thing. But the mother-in-law has had the hots for me since she met me. It's creepy. I've spoken to her about being uncomfortable, and so has my wife. It seemed to have died down, and we put it down to an unfortunate crush. She's been creepy and flirty, but we chalk that up to her personality, as she's flirty with everyone. But then it's turned out that, it says, my wife and I had a few weird fetishes. Some of the photos that I took are for her eyes only, and it's really humiliating if they're seen by people who aren't my wife, which obviously his mother-in-law isn't. So yeah, this mother-in-law, she sounds like a right old bunny boiler, doesn't she? I'm so sorry if you are the mother-in-law and you're listening, but you do sound like a right old bunny boiler. Tone it down, love.
Mark Denham.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Atom Radio with Coldplay, An Adventure of a Lifetime, David Bowie and Rebel. It's the music you want to hear at 4:53. That is 7 minutes to 5 o'clock. You know, I told you earlier about the story of the lady who ordered from the takeaway and got tiny, tiny portions. I did mention the other day, didn't I? How frustrating is it? Like, not necessarily a takeaway, but when you buy a ready meal and you get it home and it says, cook in half an hour, serves 3 or serves 4, and you plate it up and you're like, 3 or 4 what? Tiny babies? And you're thinking, hang on a minute, this is not going to serve 3 or 4 adults. Why is it? Like, who decides what an actual portion size is when it comes to something like that? Does, the world's tiniest stomached person think, that'll do?
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
John Past and Elmo's Fire, Man in Motion. This is Atom Radio across the world on atomradio.co.uk, on TuneIn, on iTunes Radio, and on your smart speaker. We were talking before 5 about portion sizes, and I've got an email here that says that the ready meal portion sizes are the average size portion. Well, for what? For what? I mean, for what? For who? This does anger me, because if you buy something, let's just say there's you and your partner, right? And you buy something, it says serves 2. Both of you have a half of it each, and you end up still hungry because it doesn't serve 2, it serves 1. So who decides on this? It's just annoying. It really is just annoying. And I'll tell you another thing with regards portion sizes, right? If you go to the Harvester and you order, let's say, then you get a plate full of stuff, your chosen food and your chips or your potato or whatever, plus you get unlimited trips to the salad cart, all right? If you go to a posh restaurant, though, then you get a plate similar in size to that which you get at the Harvester, but the plate is half empty because the posh food has been neatly designed in the middle and some sauce dribbled over it in some, Art Nouveau fashion. But there's actually no food on the plate. So what you're basically paying for is a mostly empty plate that's well decorated. That's annoying as well.
Drive time with Mark Denham.
Atom Radio's Tuesday Drive Time. It's Mark with you until 7 o'clock tonight. Another thing on portion sizes. Okay. Portion sizes depend on many, many things. How hungry you are, what meal of the day it is. No, they don't. They don't. A portion size is a portion size, If you're eating lunch or if you're eating dinner, a portion size is surely a portion size. That's like saying when you go and buy a pair of shoes, like I am a size 10. A depends on what size of the day you go. You know, if you go at lunch, you could get away with a size 8 when you're actually a size 10. It just doesn't know. No, a portion size is a portion size. End of. You know, like, I tell you actually, if we're talking sizes, right, I'm getting on a rant now. I really am getting on a rant, okay. This started because we mentioned earlier about the lady who ordered a takeaway and got virtually nothing. And then I thought, you know, it does annoy me when you buy one of these meals that says it serves 3 or 4 and basically it serves 1. But then if we're talking sizes, okay, you know, when you buy clothes, it depends on what shop you buy from, doesn't it? And it shouldn't, because, you know, if you're buying, let's just make this really, really simple. If you're buying a t-shirt, okay, and you are an extra large, but then you go to another shop and the extra large is too tight, so you have to buy a double XL. But then you go to another shop and the extra large is too big and you have to buy a large. Same with shoes. I think this probably affects ladies more than men. I mean, I am a size 10 and every pair of shoes and trainers I own is a size 10. But then, like, you hear ladies, don't you? Well, you know, I'm a 4 or a 5. Well, how can you be both? You're probably a 4.5, but how can you be both, you see? So surely a size is a size, whether it's clothes size, shoe size, portion size. A size is a size. Otherwise, there's no point to having that size at all, is there? Tell me the answer to what colour was Postman Pat's cat, and I could get you on our Brain Teaser Roll of Honour. I'll calm down in a minute in time to do the Roll of Honour. Some Rehab and Conor Maynard on the way. If you know the answer to that question, Facebook, tweet or email, grab the contact details and the travel news on atomradio.co.uk.
Yeah!
Mark Denham.
atomradio.co.uk.
You know, when you think about Learn to Live, right, life teaches you lessons every single day, you know, whether that's personally, career-wise, relationship-wise, life teaches you lessons every single day. The happy and successful ones are the ones that learn those lessons. The unhappy and the unsuccessful ones are the ones that think, do you know what, ignore that. I'm sure we can change the circumstances. Inevitably, in most cases, you can't. You will end up sad, unhappy, unsuccessful. There you are, a bit of Thursday philosophy for you, ahead of Depeche Mode and Everything Counts.
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
Billy Ocean, Caribbean Queen on atomradio.co.uk, on TuneIn, on iTunes Radio and on your smart speaker. This is Mark with you on Drive Time, the greatest drive time on the greatest internet radio, in my humble opinion. Hope you're right today. Now, this shocking thing that I was going to tell you, okay, now, a lady fell over, 77-year-old lady fell over and broke her hip. Her son, she told her son travelled nearly 200 miles from London to Devon, reaching his mum before the local ambulance got to her. The man caught 1 bus, 1 tube and 2 trains, and he arrived before the ambulance. Members of her family nearby rushed to her aid, rang the emergency services 6 times from 9 a.m. that day. It took until 4 p.m. for them to arrive, so says the BBC. Mr. Clements told the BBC that his relatives had found his mother lying in an awkward position on the cold conservatory floor, unable to move. He said, there's an ambulance station a 10-minute drive from her house, but I managed 1 bus, 1 tube and 2 trains and arrived before they did. That's actually shocking. That really is shocking.
Drive time with Mark Denham.
5:20 here on the big drive home. You got Mark until 7. Brain Teaser is just around the corner. A new load of emojis have been announced, which will be released on all phones later this year. One new emoji will be a hand doing a pinching motion to depict a small gentleman sausage and mock modestly endowed gentleman. The rude emoji is one of 270 that are coming to all phones this year, as unveiled in the new Emojipedia list for 2019. A number of physical disabilities are now represented, including a range of wheelchairs, a blind person, sign language, hearing aids, 2 seeing eye dogs as well. The new updates were requested by Apple, which submitted a number of designs after consulting a number of campaigns and charities on the issue. So in there, others include a yawning face, a raccoon, an ice cube, and new food-themed pictures as well, including waffles and butter. There's new animals, sloths, otters, flamingos, orangutans, and skunks. Who on earth is going to send those? In the 6th major emoji update since 2014, there's an even bigger range of skin tones and relationship types as well in the new edition. So yeah, but the one garnering most attention is the, as it's now dubbed, the small gentleman sausage emoji. There you go. Look out for that on your iPhone, your Android later on, and if you've got one of those dumb phones, you won't see any of those.
Mark Denham.
AtomRadio.co.uk. It's just my angel and me.
Atom Radio plays Westlife. Hello, my love. We mentioned yesterday the new emojis that were coming out, including the small gentleman sausage thing. Well, the newspapers now are covered with, and online as well, covered with tips on how to wash down there after a man admitted that he never ever did. What's wrong with you, you idiot? What is wrong with you? Why would you think you don't wash it? You dirty Bertie.
You'll say
Drive Time with Mark Denham.
5:20, Friday evening. We are online 24 hours a day playing the music you want to hear. Marine biologists have found a memory stick which has footage captured. It's been tracked down by New Zealand officials and they'd like to return it to its owner. Now, how did it get lost, you may ask? Well, it's been found frozen in seal poo. Oh dear. The clue, the only clue to locate the mystery owner is a data dump. I get what you did there, of holiday pictures including video film from a blue canoe or a kayak in the waters around Southern Ireland. The footage also shows a mother and baby sea lion playing nearby. Scientists at the National Institute of Water and Atmospheric Research made the unusual find after thawing a scat sample, that's what it says here, which was collected more than a year ago. They said they found something large and hard sealed in the sample, only to discover that it was still a fully working memory stick. So there you are. If you have a memory stick and you're worried now about sticking it in your pocket, it's all right. They're freezer proof, and they're also poo proof as well. So you're okay.
Drive time with Mark Denham.
This is Atom Radio, Friday's Drive Time from Slough in the UK. It's Mark with you, playing all around the world. Under a week now to go until Valentine's Day. Have you sorted out what you're doing yet? If you are coupled up, have you sorted out what you're doing? Is anyone listening actually thinking of proposing next Thursday? I'd love to know if you are. Obviously, if you do email me or whatever and say, yeah, I'm going to propose, I won't give away your name because then that will ruin the surprise. But yeah, if you are, seriously, if you are thinking of proposing next Thursday, just drop me an email on air at atomradio.co.uk and perhaps another one next Friday to let me know whether it was successful or not as well. That's a deal, isn't it?
AtomRadio.co.uk.
I'm going to throw it out there. I would absolutely love to see some form of return of Noel's house party. Right? I know he's 70 now, and I know Noel's house party finished a little while ago, but I think it would be great to see him back on the telly with a Saturday night primetime show, because to be honest, I've never really got Ant and Dec. I just don't get them. I really don't. So, yeah, ITV, do the right thing. Give us Noel back. I know Noel used to be on the BBC, but come on, ITV. You can win this Saturday night ratings battle. Just put Noel on, and it's done. And what about sizing, eh? That really, really does annoy me, you know. And there is one thing, I've said this before, that really annoys me. In terms of shoe sizes, okay? I'm a size 10. I've been a size 10 all my adult life in shoes. So all of my trainers, all of my shoes, they're all a size 10. You know, when you go and you say, have you got these in a size 10? And they say, they go off and they come back and they say, we've got a 9 or we've got an 11. Well, neither of those will fit, will they? I don't mind if you say we've got them in a different colour, because at least then that's still an option. But offering me a pair of trainers in a size that's either too big or too small just isn't an option, is it? Anyway, that is episode 31 of the podcast. We will have episode 32 of the podcast next week, and other best bits of Drive Time on Atom Radio. All you need to do now is subscribe so you get notified when the next one comes out. Have a fantastic week. If you can catch the show live, it's on Monday to Friday, UK time, 4 until 7 p.m. on atomradio.co.uk. Cheers for sticking out this week's podcast, and have yourself a fantastic week.
Atom Radio. Ooh, yeah. Playing the music you want to hear.
Mark Denham.
Atom Radio.